Yo, welcome back. This is Bad Roommates, and I am Jack. We've got some stories to read now, and this is sounding like a really bad white guy rapping, so just shut the frick up and listen. Let's jump straight into it. This first bit of drama's been starting over the last week, and I'm kind of curious if you think this is going a bit too far. See, it all starts with one person asking on the subreddit, "What do I do?" They ask, "I need advice. My roommate and I ended up moving into a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo together. Me with my boyfriend, and the bad roommate with her 3 kids that are there half, if not more than half the time. Recently, she's been taking things personally and said she doesn't see us living together in the long run, and proceeded to tell me that she is going to call the office on what she can do to terminate me or get me off the lease. They told her we both need to agree to move out or find a cause for termination. The reasons she thinks she has to try and terminate me off the lease is my boyfriend staying with me because he's not on the lease. But she's known this before he moved in and agreed that's fine. I have proof that she knows and agreed to it, and did this in the prior place when she illegally subletted the room to us in the last apartment. So at this place, we signed the lease together. She knows we smoke. We are very careful about it. There have been a couple accidents where the smell went through, and I apologized. But after the 3rd time, she's now lying and saying her son found a cart in the kitchen.
One of these, by the way.
She is now taking things personal and being hostile. I feel she is going to tell the office that my boyfriend is there. Would it not backfire on her? We have been very respectful of her family and her rules, but now, after our disagreement a few days ago, she now had a family member stay over last night without even mentioning it to me. And since she owns the couch and TV and kitchen table, she said we can't use those things anymore, even though they take up most of the common areas and space. How do I even go about this? She says not to touch her things, but they literally take up all downstairs. Feels like she's pushing us back into the room like we're renting again when we both equally pay rent. Please help and give me advice.
So there's a few sides of the fence to consider here. On one end, you haven't snuck your boyfriend in. She literally established that that was an okay situation to be in together. And it's ironic to complain about the legality of things when she's clearly someone who partakes in illegalities herself when she's renting to places. It seems like now that she's no longer responsible for you because she's not subletting to you, trying to get you kicked out over your boyfriend isn't something she'd actually get in trouble with herself. On the other end of things, is kinda scummy that you don't have your boyfriend on the lease when he's clearly living there. As much as I am an advocate for renters' rights, that is still someone else's property. The whole point of leases and having your names on them is so they know who is in the property, and if any damages occur or something happens, you know who to follow up with, or know who's responsible, or know who's definitely not responsible, you know? You're basically just giving your boyfriend free reign that if you break up in some dramatic fashion, he can destroy everything in that house and basically get away with it. Now, on the alleged bad roommate side of things, the comments explain this a bit more thoroughly, which has actually made some people kind of against OP in a way. What do you think? Some say that smoking inside, especially when kids also live there, isn't really the best thing, so kind of understandable that the mother is a bit upset about that now. OP defends, saying, "We don't smoke indoors at all, and if we do, it's the carts, and then we don't do it in front of them at all and make sure it's not around any kids. We are very careful, but she's lying about finding a cart as a reason to take things personal. So okay, do you or do you not smoke inside?" OP again further downvoted, "We do not smoke marijuana inside. We smoke our carts and out of their vicinity or in our room only. They've gotten 2 drafts of it coming out of our room, but I've apologized many times." So basically they're saying they don't smoke marijuana inside, they smoke the carts that have marijuana in it inside. I know, that kind of makes no sense at all, but there is a bit of a back and forth arguing that carts aren't like smoke. They can stink, but it's not like smoke where it can actually stick to surfaces like fur and walls, etc. Some people disagree. They think vape is just as bad as smoke when it creates a lingering smell, but for everyone saying that, you have other people completely dismissing it, so take that how you will. Either way, I currently stand at the idea that this woman accepted who you both were, both originally at the previous place you were staying at, where you smoked, and where you are now, where you smoke. For her to suddenly be up in arms about this is, yeah, kinda scummy. It's not like you suddenly started smoking behind her back after telling her you were a bunch of devout Christians. Anyway, that's not how it ends, that's just how it started. because a day later they come back to the subreddit to let us know that the roommate is taking things personal.
Hello, I've written here recently and things are just escalating. I told her again that she should probably make room in the living room and kitchen area since she told me and my boyfriend we can't use her double one-section couch that makes up most of the living room and her TV and TV stand that takes up most of the outer wall. She responded with that she won't be moving anything and to make sure my couch isn't blocking the patio doorway. She's being completely unreasonable and feels like she's trying to take over the home and push us into the room. We pay the exact same rent, and I am on the lease, but still she somehow has taken over most of the home. She does have most of the kitchen space. I don't have money to move out yet, not for another few months. Any advice on how to go on about this? She usually has 3 kids with her, which makes the situation more difficult because now there's a lot of tension in the home because of her.
Now you might be curious, what is this space that the roommate's furniture is occupying? Well, here you go. This couch, this kitchen table, and that TV are all off limits. So you let me know, what of that space can the OP use then? That doesn't move any of these things out of the way, but still allows one to maybe want to sit down in the lounge room, relax, lounge around, as is the purpose of the space. Now, I'm not sure exactly how useful people in the comments are about this, because the most constructive thought I'm seeing is just someone telling them to suck it up, buttercup, stop letting her manipulate you, grow a spine, and genuinely ignore her. Which, I mean, tell me you've never lived with estranged roommates without telling me you've never lived with estranged roommates. Again, a reminder from the OP. This roommate is threatened to try and take them off the lease or get them terminated with a cause. Understandably, that can stress you out or make you have a bit of anxiety. But others counter that is just a scare tactic. She literally has the same amount of say and control as you. She's an equal on the lease. She's not in charge of the lease. Besides, to try and get you off the lease is something that, in her position is illegal and she'd have to pay you damages, apparently. Maybe don't take legal advice from someone named Sputty. To resolve one previous point though, as someone also mentions the fact that you need to get your boyfriend on the lease, otherwise that is absolutely grounds for termination. The reason why the mother can't really use that as an excuse to get her kicked off the lease is because she already agreed to it beforehand. Again, as the OP mentioned in the first story, if she did bring up the boyfriend being there, then yeah, she's actually equally liable because she's been allowing it this entire time. So anyway, you see the space, are reminded OP cannot move anything. They can only add their own furniture. So it's time to play a little bit of malicious compliance. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Generic Room Makeover TV Show. Today's special lucky contestant is OP dealing with some dramatic roommate drama. Here is their original room. How disgusting, a lack of character and joy. Let's spice it up! Wow, look at that. Look at the room for activities. A whole 3 meters of walking space. Jugs of water to rinse out the delicious treats you'll be having for Halloween. Dude, did someone say Halloween? Yes, it's a themed makeover. Look at that. $5 pillow. Wowee. Can't wait to snuggle up to that when I'm... Oh, wait, the music looped again. Can't wait to snuggle up to that while I'm twisting my neck 180 degrees to watch the television. Yes! Anyway, OP goes on to say,
Hey, so guys, I just wanted to give a quick update. I finally had the energy to bring in the couch early this morning. She is probably at work or in her room because someone started the laundry. Finally brought it in. Now, time to wait if she has anything to say and if she wants me to move it. We decided that if she doesn't want it in there, we will most definitely be paying $200 less since she's made the living room and most dining area her personal space and a chunk of the garage for her shirt business.
So obviously I'm in support of everyone saying that they are here for the drama at this point. Do you think they were right to go about this route though? Do you think this mother in this situation is being absolutely unnecessary about this? Or could they maybe just learn to have healthier smoking habits? It's difficult because it doesn't sound like the mother has actually made that sort of, intervention. Instead of going, hey, I realize this is actually a really big issue for me in terms of living with someone who has this sort of hobby, she's gone straight to, I am going to try and get you homeless. Also, do you think it's fair that she should have to pay about $200 extra a week because she's putting all her furniture in a space that then also bans the other housemates from using said furniture? Personally, I kind of think it's justified. That's from not actually putting much evidence or thinking about it and too busy finding it funny that they're going down this petty route of just adding a couch right in front of the television. Hope he does come back to inform us all that this whole situation has just been too much for them anyway. So once she gets a satisfying reaction from the mother, she's going to go with the flow and move out February anyway. And honestly, yeah, that's probably the best thing to do. There's no point trying to fight this out. No, so many other things to do with your life than deal with this drama. Oh, and in an update in the comments, 8 hours ago, what seems to be the morning for them, OP says she's downstairs right now with her whole family playing loud music on her speaker. We might have to just leave again to have breakfast elsewhere, but that's fine. AKA, the mother is mad. She's clearly retaliating by playing loud music to try and ruin your morning. Ow, it would be a real shame if you microwaved some disgusting fish or smelling tea like cumin tea. Ow, just strolling naked or with a tit out. Oops, how'd that happen? Yeah, that'll show mother. Flashing her kids. So what you want to do is avoid police being involved in this matter.
I'm gonna do something that gets police involved in this matter.
Oh. Checking out some more terrible housemate situations. How my roommate left his room when he moved out. Wow, Are you sure he left?
I mean, how else is he gonna eat his tub of ice cream without his spoon?
I moved in with, at the time, my best mate. Living together turned that relationship sour pretty quick. This is how he left his room at the end of the lease. He'd smoke weed morning till night in his room with the windows and doors shut, causing the ceiling to go black. He also left the mattress and pillows I gave him, thinking I'd want it back, which now have stains caused by God knows what on it. He also stuck a screwdriver in the wall to hold up the curtain rail. Yeah, more pics for proof there. Look at that! What? Not to resort to sexist stereotypes, but you can tell this was a man's room. God damn. I mean, the curtains that aren't even the same curtains. One's clearly a bed sheet. Is that laundry detergent on just in the corner of the room? Oh, but there was more stuff beside the bed there. Wowee. Wow. Ah, and look at that lovely bond cleaning responsibility you've been left with. To all the younger folks watching this video, some of you yet to move out for college or to move in with your friends, be ready for this. I guarantee that some of your friends are your friends because of how rarely you see them. Over to someone really fighting for the title of worst roommate. My roommates ignore me when I confront them about their filth and providing a impressive collage of their rant to the roomies, which you just always gotta love when the group chat is roomies love hard. You can tell what the dynamic was before they all moved in together. Now it's actually a really constructive ramble. It's not so much saying that they are pathetic and disgusting human beings, but like, hey, this is an issue, we're sharing this place, we need to actually take care of it, let's work together. To which Laura roomie says, I'm not ignoring you, I'm just really busy, I'll get back to this. Which, as you're about to find out, sounds like it's something they have said consistently over the last few months. Honestly, I wouldn't put it past Laura here that they are someone who is aware of how messy they're becoming, and that's just become extra stress for them, and they've resorted to procrastinate on dealing with that stress because it stresses them too much to confront it, which, as someone who does fall into that hole myself, I understand. Anyway, let's see what we're dealing with. I'm a 24 female and currently in a lease with 2 other girls, and they are sophomores and junior in college. So maybe like 19 and 20. I knew in advance that it would be difficult living with college-age girls, especially after living alone, but I need to vent. Pics included.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
What is that indeed? I feel it's a bit of dark premonition that you are ending up to live with dirty, messy housemates when you have a rug like that. That's not a giant stain. That's a design choice. So, younger girls of the OP, those designs look good when everything else is clean. They're not meant to blend in with your other, architectural choices. Continuing on with the story. I was desperately looking for housing as my last lease was ending back in June. A luxe studio apartment by myself that I couldn't afford anymore. And I was contacted by someone on Facebook who was looking for someone to take her place in a lease. I quickly agreed after a quick run through of details and getting to see the apartment via video. I was placed in a group chat with my now roommates and we chat a little. They told me they didn't know each other, but after living with them the last 3 months, I don't believe that anymore. Everything was cool. They shared a group notes with me with all the things they wanted to buy for the house. I moved in June 1st and they moved in around late August when their semester started. While I was living there alone, I went ahead and bought the things off of their wish list and other things needed for the house. house. I told them they could send me money for the microwave, but everything else, not to worry about it, and just focus on buying what they need for their rooms. I also bought a couch, rug, and egg chair with me from my previous apartment, and they agreed to have their furniture in the living room. I offered to sell the couch if they wanted a new couch, but they opted to keep it because they weren't having luck finding one on Facebook Marketplace. Okay, so that rug was your decision then. Okay. Again, in her defense, she didn't know she was going to be living with pigs. So when they moved in, they were cool, kinda. One of them took one of my bowls and used it as an ashtray the day they moved in, and they quickly started to show me that they are unkempt and inconsiderate of my presence and comfortability in the house. One of them was in the bathroom from 8 a.m. to like 11 a.m., and I had to pee somewhere by 10:30, so I texted and said, "Can I use the bathroom to pee and brush my teeth quick?" She never replied, and I had to leave with a yuck mouth and a full bladder. By this time, I figured there'd be a gap in communication because why would you not respond? Clearly she had passed out on the toilet and was embarrassed. Oh no, this next bit. Then they started bringing this guy around, and I put together that they knew each other and have a mutual friend. The guy started hanging around a lot and started sleeping on my couch in the living room and leaving messes around. I asked them about him and they said they should have talked to me about it, but something was happening with his other place, but he wouldn't be living with us. He's still around to this day. Everyone is just sneaky about it. I think he's responsible for the literal shoe freaking print on my couch as pictured above. Here you go for reference. Just so you know, there's like 20 of these photos. Just so you're aware of how disgusting this place has turned. Anyway, so over the past 3 months, I have been cleaning after them because I don't want to live in the conditions they're comfortable in. I let time pass to allow them to clean after themselves, but they just don't do it. I ask them to clean, they'll do a bare minimum wipe down of the counters that are always coated in oil. Overall, it seems the OP at first has been cleaning up after them, playing mother. They'll just do the bare minimum wipe down of the counters, and after OP gives it a proper clean, they screw it up the same day. Even going so far as fawning to the idea of like, she'll be their maid if she can renegotiate the rent split, etc. I mean, damn, you have to be at a pretty low point of housemate situation to agree to become the maid of the household, just to get some semblance of comfort where you live. Of course, it's resorting her to get to the point where she's gonna just ban them from her furniture and utensils and such, which honestly, I'm all for. Not just because I find it gross, but because I personally used to be this sort of moochy, disgusting housemate. It wasn't until someone slapped the sense into me with like gross hairs being left in the sink, toilet being left like this, stovetop getting ruined, general disgusting trash. I mean, come on. How hard is it to break down cardboard boxes? Also, I swear to God, please tell me this is just rubber gloves. But yeah, it's people who live like this that make me begin to understand why landlords can be so petty sometimes. And of course, the people who are messy play Cards Against Humanity. I swear to God, that's like as tied to messy housemates as them having bongs. Not to... Of course, one of them has the bongs too. Oh my God. For the record, not everyone who does recreational drugs are messy people, but for God's sake, there's a lot of them who aren't helping fight against that stereotype.